On the phone now is Eric Cantor, the congressman from Virginia and the Minority Whip in the House. Congressman, first question about health care. What are your expectations now from the Democratic side about this legislation?
Well, Paul, first of all, I think the unthinkable has happened. And in Scott Brown's election last night, I do think the underpinnings of the Democratic agenda here in Washington have been shaken. And so the jury really is still out as to where we're going to head with health care. None of us are accepting the status quo. I think all of us want to do something to bring down health care costs. I'm hopeful that the message that came out of last night's election will be heeded. And the message to me was the people of Massachusetts, just like the people of Virginia and New Jersey, are tired of Washington not listening. We ought to have some common sense healthcare reform that brings down costs. No one, I think, is interested in incurring $1 trillion of additional costs without producing some savings, without producing some real reform, and that's frankly what you have in the Senate healthcare bill at this point.
Congressman, there's a little passage in roll call I want to read to you. It's from a Democratic aide saying the biggest takeaway from Massachusetts for House Democrats is that Democrats need to define Republicans before they have the opportunity to define themselves. They go on to say that this guy, Scott Brown, didn't run as a Republican. His literature didn't say he was a Republican. The Republicans' brand is still in the toilet, according to this aide. What's your reaction?
They can go about name-calling, finger-pointing all they want. But for goodness sakes, it's Massachusetts. I think there's only 12% of the registered voters that are Republicans. Massachusetts obviously has a different political culture. There were obviously many Democrats and independents willing to go and vote for a Republican because they are so fed up with an agenda in Washington that does not reflect the mainstream center-right nature of this country. And Scott Brown's election last night, just like those in Virginia and New Jersey a few months ago in the gubernatorial races, were elections that reflected the desire for people in America to have a check and balance on one-party rule that is not meeting the expectations of hope and change for the American people.
What about the rest of the agenda? You spoke about health care, but take us through the rest of the year. It is an election year, and a lot of folks say there are a lot of significant pieces of legislation that should get done. What is your take at this point?
Well, I think that the American people expect Washington, first of all, to conduct itself in a way that people realize their right to know. The shenanigans surrounding the health care negotiations in the Senate were appalling. Backroom deals, trading hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars between senators as if that money belonged to them, without the public really knowing what was going on. We've seen the same type of behavior in the House all year long. So hopefully what we will see going forward is a much more transparent process and one that is mindful that we can't keep spending money we don't have, and that we need some solutions right now which take away the environment of uncertainty, preventing job creators from jumping back into the game and creating opportunity and getting people back to work.
And briefly, what do you see this doing for Republican money coming in, Republican candidates who maybe you weren't thinking about before?
I don't think there's any question that we in the House have seen an overwhelming increase in interest on the part of so many people across the country to come and be a part of what we're doing. The Republican House Conference has been about solutions since the beginning of last year. When we approached the stimulus debate, I personally handed to President Obama our stimulus plan that was heavy on job creators, and frankly, we believe could have created twice as many jobs at half the cost. Same thing when it came to the budget last year. We tried to present a budget that was angled towards trying to rein in some of the runaway spending. Same thing on this health care bill. We have an alternative. We believe that we should reform the system, but do it in a way that makes sense and won't bankrupt this country.
Eric Cantor, the congressman from Virginia, also the Minority Whip in the House. Thanks a lot for your time.
Paul, thank you.